सान्द्रानन्दावबोधात्मकमनुपमितं कालदेशावदिभ्या निर्मुक्तं नित्यमुक्तं निगमशतसहस्रेण निर्भास्यमानम् अस्पष्टं दृष्टमात्रे पुनः उरुपुरुषार्थात्मकं ब्रह्मतत्त्वं तत्तावत् भाति साक्षात् गुरुपवनपुरे हन्त भाग्यं जनानाम् अग्रे पश्यामि तेजो निबिडतरकला यावली लोभनीयं पीयूषाप्लावितोऽहं तदुतरे दिव्यकैशोरवेशं तारुण्यारम्भरम्यं परमसुखरसास्वाद रोमाञ्चिताङ्गैः आवीतं नारदाद्यैः विलसदुपनिषत् सुन्दरी मण्डलैश्च
Gurupavanapure Hantabhagyam Jananam. Namaskaram to all the Astikas. We did see Krishna's friendship with Uddhava. Krishna instructing Uddhava to experience the love that the Gopika Stris had for him, so that Uddhava gets the first-hand experience to understand what bhakti looks like. In continuation to that, Bhaṭṭatiri tells, Sairandhyastanuchiram smaraturaya yato bhussulalitamudhavena sardham avasam tvad upagomotsavam sadaiva dhyayantyaha pratidinavasa sanjikayaha tadanu tvam sardham uddhavena, accompanied by Uddhava. Along with Uddhava, abhuhu yataha sulalitam, you had gone in a very charming fashion, avasam sairandhriyaha, to the residence of Sairandhri. Who is this Sairandhri? If you remember a few dashakams back, kubjam abjavilochanam patibhuvam drishtwangaragetaya, we had mentioned a Shloka in Śrīman Nārāyaṇīyam, where a lady, a hunchback lady with the grace of Krishna, had become Tavad Jagat Sundareem. She had become a beautiful pageant holder, Miss World, Miss Universe. That is the Sairandhri. Avasam Sairandhriyaha Smaraturayaha, who was afflicted by Cupid's arrows, which means she was love afflicted, love lone. Chiram Sada Dhyayantyaha, and for all was always a longing for Krishna's presence by always thinking about him. So the word used by Bhaṭṭatiri is Dhyayantyaha. She was always doing dhyanam, Dhyayantyaha, to see him. Tvad upagama utsavam yeva. And that celebration in her house only would happen when you visit. So Krishna and Uddhava went there. Pratidina vasa sanjikayaha. And then like a beautiful lady, she would be dressed up very well. And she would present herself to Krishna. Upagate tvai purna manoratham pramada sambhramakam prapayodharam vividhamananamadhati muda rahasitam ramayancha krishe sukham tvam sukham ramayancha krishe. You happily delighted. You gave her that pleasure. What? Rahasitam purna manoratham. In privacy, by staying along with her, that Sairandhri, and her desire being fulfilled. Tvai upagate sati. And when you approached her, When you reached her, adadhati muda, and you offered yourself with full joy to them. Vividha mananam, different kinds of honors were presented. Pramada, sambhrama, kampra, payodharam, her bosoms, her chest, which was shivering due to that intense that love that she was going to meet Krishna. The other side is that tension, that little worry that if he would leave. So it was a combination of emotions. Pramada, sambhrama, kampra, payodharam. So her chest was shivering. Prishtavaram Punarasava Vrunodharaki Bhuyastvaya Suratameva Nishantareshu Sayujyamastvati Vadet Buddha Yeva Kamam Samipyatastvanishamityapi Nabravit Kim Punaha Asau Varaki. That particular pitiable woman, we know her as a Sairandri. Do we know her name? Similarly, in Srimad Ramayanam, Nishadanam Neta Kapikulapatihi Kapi Shabari. Shabari belonged to the Shabara Jati, so she was called Shabari. Shramanim, Nama Shabarim, Chirajivani. These are all the adjectives used for Shabari, but we don't even know her name. Similarly, we know she is a Sairandri, but what is her name? So here he says, Punaha Asau Varahi, Pushtatvaya Vara Avrunod. And then when she was asked, Krishna asked her, see, I've spent some time with you, Sairandri, ask for a boon. Suratam yevatvaya, only the sport of love with you. What did she say? I want to only be with you, Krishna. I want to just enjoy these sports with you. Bhuyaha nishantareshu, again in the nights to come, kamam buddhaha eva vadet. It is true that only an enlightened person can talk like this. Nevertheless, astu sayujyam iti, any person would say sayujyam. I should never be separated from you. I should always be very close to you. This is what any person would ask. Astu sayujyam iti kim na abravit api. Why did she not ask for that? She just said, I need to spend some nights with you. I should be in this state with you. But she did not ask. Astu samipyam anisham iti. She could have asked for that nearness with you, but she didn't ask. Tato bhavan deva nisha sukha suchite mrigi drisham tam nibhritam vinodayan adatu pashloka iti shrutam sutam sanaradat sattvata tantra vidbabhau. He deva tataha nibhritam vinodayan. Thereafter delighting her, tam mrigi drisham kasuchit nishasu. For very many nights with her. Bhavan adat tasyai sutam. You did give her a son. Shrutam iti upashlokaha. Well known by the name called Upashloka was his name. Saha babhau Sattvata Tantravit. This boy later became a very enlightened and learned person later. Sattvata Tantravit. The one who gave us Sattvata Tantra. So Tantra, there are many tantras. This tantra is called Sattvata Tantra. The commentator in Bhaktaranjani says, in the Vaishnava Agamas we have Pancharatram and Vaikhanasam. In the Vaikhanasa, it is said that they use the Sattvata Tantra. So, Sattvata Tantra with Naradat, by in communication, conversation with Narada Maharshi. Akrura mandiramito balodhavabhyam abhyarchito bahunuto muditena tena yenam visrjya vipinagata pandaveya vrittam vivedita tatha dhritarashtra cheshtam atha tvam itaha akrura mandiram. Now Krishna's time spent with the Sairandri, that Sairandri's Purva Charitram, how she became a Sairandri from being a Kubja was described earlier. That Sairandri Bhagavan spent time with, thereby gave a son, and this son became the progenitor of the Sattvata Tantra. So essentially Sattvata Tantra was born out of him through his knowledge. On the other hand, Krishna goes and meets Akrura. Akrura Mandiram. Mandira doesn't mean temple. Mandiram essentially means the palace, the place where he used to stay. Akrura Mandiram, Balodhavabhyam, along with Balarama and Uddhava. Earlier, the first 4 verses were only with Uddhava. Now with Bala, so he says Balodhavabhyam, with Bala, Balarama and Uddhava. Abhyarchitaha Bahu Nutaha. And you were duly honored and you were duly praised. Tena muditena. Akrura was extremely overjoyed. Later when Krishna goes as the messenger of the Pandavas to the house, the hut, the hermitage of Vidura, a similar bliss or ecstasy is experienced. Here he says, Tena muditena viveditha visrujya yenam. So thereby you did learn by sending something to Akrura. Where did Krishna send Akrura as a person who would note down the events? Vipinagada Pandaveya Vrittam. See, we need to now shift a bit of our focus towards the Pandavas. Now, throughout we have experienced only Balarama, Krishna in connection with Nanda Gopa, Yashoda, Devaki, Vasudeva, Kamsa, Gopika Astris, now Uddhava. Now we have to shift our focus towards Hastinapura. So Krishna's father, Vasudeva, had a sister called Pritha, who was later given an adoption to Kunti Bhoja Maharaja, who gave her the name Kunti. This Kunti was married to one of the scions of the Hastinapura, which is the Kaurava Praja. There was a person called Pandu. Pandu and Kunti married, and eventually Pandu had another wife called Madri. When they all went to the forest, they were cursed by a rishi that they could not have a physical relationship and thereby produce children. So that is when Kunti uses the boon bestowed upon her by Durvasa Maharshi and invokes Devatas and has children like Yudhishthira, Bhima and Arjuna, while Madri has Nakula Sahadeva. Eventually, Pandu dies and so does Madri. So as a single mother, as a widow, she has to raise the 5 children, 3 plus 2. So they all return to Hastinapura. It is in Hastinapura, when they are all under the tutelage of Dronacharya and Kripacharya, that there are certain incidents that bring about that enmity between the Kauravas, the Dhartarashtras led by Duryodhana, and the Pandavas led by Yudhishthira. So incidents like feeding food mixed with poison to Bhima, then putting him into a lake that was infested with serpents, and the serpents biting him, and eventually Bhima gets saved. But this incident and a lot of other incidents where there was blatant partiality shown by the king called Dhritarashtra, all this is noted by Akrura, because Krishna had sent Akrura for this purpose. So, Vipinagata Pandaveya Vrittam. So, in this particular phrase, Pandaveya Vrittam, all this is included. Tatha Dhritarashtra Cheshtam, and also the doings of Dhritarashtra. Whatever were the doings of Dhritarashtra, all of that was being experienced. So, all this is a part of this particular episode.
कल्याणरूपाय कलौ जनानां कल्याणदात्रे करुणासुधाब्दे कंवादिदिव्यायुधसत्कराय वातालयाधीश नमो नमस्ते। नारायण 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 नारायण